the world is coming to a deadly war. Welcome to World War II in the eyes of the beholder. I'm Matthias. So, we're kind of going in this series. We're kind of going up in the European theater. We're going through important battles, and when I'm done with the European theater, I'll head to the Pacific and Middle Eastern theaters, and I will be covering those in detail. But today we will be talking about the invasion of Poland and Poland's Holocaust, but the Holocaust was not actually all in Poland. It was in the neighboring countries. So let's get into it. It is 4:45 a.m. September 1st, 1939, and 1.5 million soldiers cross the border into Poland. Poland is an independent country in the middle of Europe. It's smack dab in the middle of Europe, right between Russia and Germany. Nazi Germany. It's right in between two very different beliefs between two major world powers. It's kind of a little brother of Europe to a lot of them. It's a new country, and we'll talk about that in a second. The country has been torn by recent wars and only became a real country officially after World War I. It was torn by wars such as World War I, the Soviet War, and other tiny wars over Poland's borders and political statues. The taking of Germany's part of Poland took only 18 days. And when I say the Germany's part of Poland, you may not know, but the Germany and Russia both actually attacked Poland, splitting it smack dab right in the middle, which is kind of funny. They just extended their borders a few hundred miles. So it only took 18 days from September 1st to September 18th, 1939, for Germany to take its part of Poland. The reason Germany invaded Poland was, one, to test and show the world its blitzkrieging strategy, lightning war, using its tanks, planes, and men in unison to attack and conquer a formidable ally. So now I will be talking about the Polish Holocaust specifically, but the Holocaust in general. So, if you don't know what the word Holocaust means, if you don't know what the Holocaust was, it was a time for Germany to cleanse the Aryan race, and it was to get rid of all the Jews, imperial people, disabilities, homosexual, anything like that. Anyone they saw unfit to be in the Aryan race and to be proud of the German fatherland. So the Polish Holocaust is what we're talking about in this section, but just to give you a glimpse of what these people went through, I looked up the definition of the word Holocaust, and you'll get it just from the word Holocaust. I'll read you some words. Destruction or slaughter on mass scale, especially caused by fire or nuclear war. And for biblical people, I read my Bible a lot, and I know what this means, but a Jewish sacrificial offering that is burned completely on the altar, all bones, everything. So, complete torture for the victim. So the words, there were some words that came up below, similar words that you could use instead of Holocaust. So you could use these words I have. Destruction, disaster, devastation, butchery, genocide, ethnic cleansing. That's pretty deep. Ethnic cleansing. You would go so low to clean your Aryan race and to kill thousands upon thousands and millions of innocent people just because their granddaddy was a Jew. It went so far as you would have these different levels of your punishment. You could be sent to a concentration camp if your parents directly were Jews, or even if your great grandpa was a Jew. and you had some Jewish blood in you, you could be sent to a concentration camp, and they were horrible. I'll talk about that in this section. Here's some more words: disaster, catastrophe, demolition, massacre, slaughter, mass murder, butchery, and that's just to name a few. So there's really a lot that's going on here, and it's very overwhelming. And to the people living there, the conditions were horrible. So the Holocaust was a German mission to cleanse the world of Jews and make a pure Aryan race. This lasted from 1942, after they've taken quite a bit of Russia, they've taken Poland, France. So they're just cleaning out all the areas that we have Jewish people or anyone unclean. So this resulted in the deaths of about 6 million Jews worldwide. But it's not just Jews, it's the mentally or physically disabled, prostitutes, gypsies, and the sick, along with prisoners of war, homosexuals, and any communists. I'll tell you one thing, Nazis do not like communists. They may have a pact at this moment, but they do not like communists. It was a horrible experience. Everyone that was thought to be a Jew was given a yellow star to stow under their jacket. It was a sign of the Jews, and if you have a star on your jacket, that's how people would know. So just to give you how big this was, a fact that I know is you are either related, you are, or you know someone that has been sent to a concentration camp. So it could be your best friend, it could be your little brother, it could even be you. You and your brother could be sent there. You could know anyone from this wide range, and everyone in this Polish area in Poland knew someone that was sent to gulags or concentration camps. So after you had sewn your star on or had some designation that you were Jew, you were packed into trains and sent to concentration camps. When I mean packed into trains, I mean packed into trains. Like pushed in, some would die standing up, like you would get swished, you could suffocate. And these weren't luxury trains, no, these were cattle cars. These were cars that were used to carry horses and pigs and cows and stuff. And there would be whole trains full of hundreds and hundreds of cars of these, holding innocent lives of innocent people that do not want to, need to, or have to be in this war. In these camps, you would basically work as slaves and would get very little food. And if you were too weak, sick, disabled, or disrespected a guard in any way, you would have a number of different things happen to you. You could be gassed, you would be sent to this chamber, and you would have gas flooded in the room, and you would die of toxic poisonation. You could be beaten to death right on the spot. You could just have a whack on your head, and since you're so weak, you die right there and then. You could be shot on the spot. A lot of the guards usually carried weapons, so you could be shot. They take away your food, and you simply starve to death. And they don't even have to take your food away. In this case, they could just a rat could get your food and they eat it, and then you die because you're so weak. The Germans were taking a lot of the food from all the areas that they conquered and leaving very little to the innocent children, women, and other innocent people that do not want to be in this war. They could take away your food, or even you could even work to death. So you're so weak at food, and just all these things that multiply and that come together to show you it's I really can't explain it in the real way. It's just so gruesome. It's horrible. Your living quarters is literally a wooden shelf with a blanket, and it's a wooden shelf, like 4 or 5 stories high, 4 or 5 bunks high. And you'd climb the ladder and you'd get in with around 4 other people. So you do not have your own bed. You would be sleeping with other people. And in the winter, you were given very little. You were lucky to have a blanket. You could die of freezing to death, and the guards would. I'll actually talk about that in a second. This led to the spread of fleas, maggots, bed bugs, and enormous amounts of flies. It was so bad only 10% of all Jewish Poles survived, so 90% were killed. And even if you did survive this gruesome attack on civilian lives, you would live for the rest of your life with guilt, sadness. You'd be depressed. You would never recover fully. And even if you weren't a Jew, you could be drafted. The military is constantly growing. They need more men. You could die of malnutrition. Even people who weren't in concentration camps were dying of malnutrition. You could get kicked off of your land, so a pure Germanic race could, or an officer could live there. There were 6 major concentration camps all over Poland, which would see the execution of millions of innocent Jews or undesirables. So, this is really just a horrible, horrible thing. I just can't even say anything to properly tell you how this goes, and it was horrible. But it's actually pretty good. A lot of people say that Germany or Hitler killed millions of Jews, but yes, he did. But a lot of people don't take into account the other millions and millions of Jews that die, or random civilians that die in Stalin's purges. Stalin killed over 20 million civilians or officers to clean his pure race. And I actually put a video of this on Dunkirk and the Blitz, Dunkirk, the Blitz, and the Battle of Britain, and that just really shows you how many civilians were killed. Over 20,000 civilians were killed or wounded. So 14,000 were killed and around 20,000 wounded, and just in the bombing of Britain, which is horrible. And along with all these concentration camps, getting pushed out of your home, starving to death, the whole world is going through something that will result in devastation. And at the end of the war, it resulted in the lives of over 55 to 69 million people. One of the highest death counts ever in 6 years. The 20th century was a very hard century with a lot of bloodshed and war in it, because it also saw the bubonic plague in 1919 to 1920, which is kind of funny as we're going through quarantine here on coronavirus, which saw the deaths of over 20 million people, along with World War I, which also saw about 17 million deaths. So you're just going millions and millions and millions of deaths. And yes, people are going to die, but prematurely. So this is seeing the deaths of over 60, of a lot of people. But yes, they are dying, but they're dying prematurely. And, this is millions of kids that are not born from parents, loved ones that are lost, kids that never see their daddy or mommy grow up. And it's just a horrible thing if you think about it. And, this could all be changed. It could have all be changed from peace treaties or wherever you do it. But conflicts have to be settled some way or another. And it was going to happen eventually. So we mourn and we respect the people who fought for us in this time. And we just hope, and it's just horrible, horrible, horrible. So thank you for watching my videos. I actually have a map here. So the train, they take all these black lines, they go from where they were and they go to these 6 major concentration camps, and that's where they would be sent all over this area. So it resulted in the lives of many. Anyway, so if you would like to see my other videos, I talk about other invasions, forgotten invasions of World War II. I have invasions of Normandy if you would like to check that out. I'll have the links for those in in the description below. Please like this video, comment below if you have any ideas or anything that you would like me to, in the European theater, anything that you would like me to write about or extensively study in a way that you may understand it as the viewers. Please subscribe to my channel, and if you would like to see more great content like this, or you have any ideas of how I can improve, please comment below. And comment below about your favorite part of this video. Thank you for watching.